Everyone. It's the 5th of May, and Jane and I are up in Holland at the moment, but today is a Guy Day, and that's his approximate position there, heading down or heading up towards the equator. He's off receive right now. Everything on board seems to be pretty happy, and if we consider the weather that he's got there, if you're looking here, he's in the still in the top end of the trades, but it's interesting when you look at the doldrums. We've all seen what happened to the fleet going through that, but there's nothing there at the moment. So, and it's kind of interesting. So if you can imagine him here, heading up towards being a beam of receive, he's doing about 5 to 6 knots. Everything's pretty happy, and I'm just interested to see what happens to the doldrums. He's still quite a few days away from it, but the doldrums this time of the year seem to be not super active. Anyway, by the time he gets up there, I'm sure there'll be some holes and thunderstorms and bits and pieces. He's about 2,000 miles behind Jeremy, and we're sort of expecting Jeremy to arrive, maybe 27, 28 of May. So that means Guy would probably be arriving about 13th or 14th of June, something like that. So still in plenty of time for the prize giving, which would be great. Prize giving set for 24th of June, and we're looking forward to that. So that's all pretty cool. And what else can I tell you about things going on? I will actually get to look at the comments at the end of this and just see if there's any questions there. If anyone's there, we're doing this on every other day now. So we're not doing the tracker every day because there's not a lot happening. Just with the two, they're sort of in pretty benign weather. So today's Friday, so the next one will be Sunday, and then we'll go Tuesday and so on. We're still doing I'm doing the daily reports, so you'll see them every day, so you can keep up with what's going on. And that's about it. The other thing that'll happen is you may actually see Captain Coconut pop up on the tracker in the next day or two. We're up here with Explorer, which is our Swan 57 that's entered in the Ocean Globe race. And so we thought for fun it'd be good to put the tracker on it and keep an eye on it so we know where he is anyway, just for us with the weather and everything. But it's a transition because McIntyre Adventure is this big supporter of the GGR, and the OGR is going to be the next big thing. So for all of those that are going into or already have gone into withdrawal symptoms of not being able to follow the tracker updates, you certainly will be able to do the same thing for the Ocean Globe race, which starts on September the 10th out of MDL Marinas in Southampton in the UK. So that'll be a bit of fun. It's a recreation of the 50th anniversary of the Whitbread. Okay, so I'll carry on here with the tracker and we'll go straight to the leaderboard, I think, because there's some interesting things going on there in terms of ETAs. We can start to work out what's happening. So if we just look at the distance to go for Captain Goog, he's got 859 nautical miles to go, and the tracker's actually suggesting 13th of May, and I think that's pretty reasonable. So there's a strong possibility he will arrive on the weekend of the, that weekend, which is only 8 days away or something. So he's pretty close. It'll all depend on what happens in Bay of Biscay, but it's looking very much like a weekend arrival. So that'll be a bit of fun. And then if we look at Jeremy on the Chichester class, Jeremy's got around about 1,978, so just a bit under 2,000 miles. And as I mentioned, that's sort of suggesting the weekend of the 27th, 28th. I think he's still got some transitions to get to the next weather system up there. So that'll slow him down for a couple of days, but he's been doing extremely well with the weather in the last couple of days. It didn't work out the way I thought. And in fact, it's worked, really well in his favor. So anyway, I'm on the wrong weather there at the moment, but here's the real-time weather. Okay, so I'll pick this up. We'll start off with Jeremy, and you can see it's all going pretty well for him. This high has sort of really formed up well for him, so he's managed to maintain the breeze, come up on course. We had a chat with him on the phone, and you've no doubt heard the sound cloud. But he's been maintaining speed, done 119 miles in the last 24 hours, currently doing 6 knots. You can't complain about that. And it'll continue because I would imagine, I haven't looked yet, but these highs usually head out a northeasterly direction, which means you'll come up the back edge of this one here. So let's have a look. I'll just toggle it forward slowly. Yep, it's doing exactly what it's meant to do. So there you go. That's coming up to about midnight tonight. And he's got this breeze swinging behind him. So he'll get spinnakers up and keep going. It's going to go a bit light, but it's still reasonable. That's probably about 10, 12 knots there, maybe 15, gusting 15. So that's not too bad. Let's hope he doesn't park. Here we go there's the next 24 hours. And that's all good. Yep, he's going to hang on to that, and he'll be heading straight for the Azores. So the first, it's probably only worth about 100 miles in the next 24 hours because he won't be going super fast, but at least it's fantastic sailing. Gentle breezes from behind starting to fill in a bit there as we go into day 2. And it's just getting light. So at that point, I'm just going to pick it up a bit here so we can see what's happening. So that's a day and a half, so 100, 150 miles. He's going to be about 150 miles in front. Ooh, boy, it's going to be touch and go, but it looks like he's okay. He should be still hanging on to this breeze here, and the calm is forming behind him. So that's the same transition as the other 3 went through. You remember, coming up to this the next weather system that's not part of the high, the top end bit. So he'll lock into this, and that should carry him through then into the Azores. But let's see if it pulls away from him. No, it's holding there, so I think he's going to be okay. It's like an action replay of the weather that Simon, Kirsten, and Abelish got. So once you're there, boom, you're into it. You're into southwesterlies. He's headed to the Azores. So there goes day 2, and we'll just run it. And I feel, it's anyway looking okay. But certainly the next couple of days he's okay. So Jeremy is fine. Now what's happening to Goog here? At the moment, he's got a funny course on. I'm not sure why he's heading down that way, but this graphic is not always correct. Normally, I'd think with that breeze, he'd be heading more as a direct line towards the Biscay. So, and he's actually heading down there. In fact, his course now is showing, what do we got? No, it's probably an east-southeasterly direction. And I'm not sure why, because the breeze, sort of gradient there is showing maybe a west-southwesterly. He could easily come off here, so maybe he's got a bit of heavy weather. This normally is showing about 28, 30 knots, gusting 35, 37, something like that. A bit of a breeze, but not a storm. And the wave height's probably 3 to 4. Yeah, that's even more. 3 to 4 meter seas. So I'd say he's doing something about keeping the boat comfortable, because the waves here can take on funny shapes because they're like more like big wind waves when the direction keeps changing and things like that, rather than typical what we may have been used to in the Southern Ocean. Anyway, all looking pretty good. He's got about that 800 miles to the finish. I'm sure we'll see him next weekend. Touch wood. And let's just now have a look at what the weather's going to do moving forward. I should have checked for currents, but anyway, there's not usually a lot there. So just pushing forward till midnight tonight. It all looks pretty much the same. We'll have a look. Okay, so there it's starting to head into the northwest. That's interesting. Maybe that northwesterly component has already happened, because that's only like 12 hours away, which could explain the course that he's got heading down a little bit. So anyway, that won't hold for long, I'm sure. It's not going to, by the look of it, from coming behind. So yeah, it goes light, and then all of a sudden it comes in again from the that's southwest. So that'll certainly kick him up towards Biscay. So yeah, excuse me. That's on the 6th. So this is a day and a half. He's got a good breeze pushing him in. So yeah, that's going to keep the average speeds up. That southwesterly, he'll be doing 120, 140 mile days there. So that's what he needs to do to get in next weekend. And it's holding through pretty well. So we're into day 3 there. And I would imagine in day 3, he's going to be pushing through on this lot here. So he's also looking good to keep up with the ETAs. So all kind of cool. One thing I just mentioned about the book and the video reading list. We've got that coming up in the About section of the GGR. Rob will get that up today, so it's easier to find. A few people have been asking about that, but the book list is slow and growing, actually. Some people are suggesting some books, which we're dropping in there. And there's also some suggested videos that you can get to on YouTube or whatever, or subscription if you're looking at the Voyage of Madman. So that's really everything there. I'll just quickly scan any questions at the moment. No questions this afternoon. Okay, back again. Don, did you get Goog's chili sardines when he rounded Cape Horn? Absolutely. We made a video clip of it at the time. And the good news is that Goog actually tipped me off on one of the SoundClouds. He says, oh, look, you'll find the chili at the bottom. Just eat around them. And sure enough, there was a chili at the bottom. But I gobbed the sardines, and they're great, and I didn't get too much of a chili hit. So if you want the chili, stir up the chili on the bottom. There's a big piece in there. Well, it was a whole chili. From G'day, Mike and Gay. Thanks for the updates. Question. Can you confirm that Captain Good is heading to Portugal for stocking up urgently needed Nuri sardines? He did actually suggest that, but we're not quite sure whether we can confirm it or not, because in fact, he rang yesterday. And you may have listened to his SoundCloud, so I won't preempt it, but it wasn't, I don't know whether it's up yet because the signal wasn't so good. But yeah, he did think that he might just call in there and get a top up, but we'll have to wait and see. Anything's possible in the GGR. Good morning. Thanks for here. Great, looking forward to. Okay, no more questions. So there will be a Q&A for all the Facebook followers. We'll put that up in a minute, so you can put your questions in that. And apart from that, we'll keep it all going and look forward to seeing you here for another tracker update on Sunday. Okay, that's it. So we'll hit this one and we'll see you again on Sunday.